I know what I think. So I'm curious to hear what you have to say about the scrimmage this past weekend.
Yeah, so Sark did a press conference. We'll play it here in just a little bit. We've got about a minute 40 of that, so we'll let him speak his truth. It sounded really positive. I don't know from your experience, how often did a coach go into a meeting or go into an interview and say that we had a good practice or a good scrimmage? Coaches are almost never satisfied, both college, high school, NFL. You never hear it.
True. So I would like everyone to hear it first, and then I would like talk about, like the coded message behind it, because it's different coming from a coach who primarily coaches offense versus a coach who coaches defense. So, I'm excited to like talk about it, but I want people to hear what he said.
All right, let me pull it up. Here we are. Let me see if I can get this rolling here.
It was
2 seconds.
I'm just happy that, we came out healthy. That's the most important thing this time of the year, is that we come out healthy from these scrimmages and these practices.
All right, so this is Steve Sarkisian after the scrimmage, and this is on Twitter, so I'll let us play out.
I thought the first 3 drives, we were going 1s, 2s, 3s in the scrimmage, which was a little bit different format than we've used in the past. Historically, we've gone 1s and 2s, and then when they're done, the 3s go, and then we go 1s and 2s, and then the 3s go. We were going 1s, 2s, 3s, and defensively, all 3 groups, 1s, 2s, 3s, came out and had a really good first drive. The second drive, the first offense, the second offense, and the third offense all had really good drives inside the 5, and then they didn't finish those drives. And so that was a great stand by the defense to hold them there. Then we went to the next phase of the scrimmage, which was red zone lockout, and I thought the offense performed really well and won that period. We came back after halftime and did a coming out period. And the second defense had a nice series. The first defense struggled a little, and then the third offense had a 99-yard drive. It's a hell of a drive. And then we did a 2-minute drill, and both the first offense and the second offense drove down and kicked game-winning field goals. So I like the balance. I like the competitiveness of the scrimmage. I like the physicality of the scrimmage. We're playing really physical football on both sides of the ball. As naturally, in a first scrimmage, it's always going to be a little bit sloppy. Pre-snap penalties, things like that. We definitely had to clean up from an offensive perspective. I love the way we tackled in the first scrimmage. I think we had, the defensive coaches will tell you we had 15 missed tackles, but there were no really egregious missed tackles. A lot of them were in the line of scrimmage. So I thought we tackled well, which was encouraging. At the end of the day, I thought we punted the ball really well. We got off to a little slow start kicking game, but I think Mason really stepped up and feel very confident in what he can do. And he made a couple really big kicks for us there at the end.
It's a lot to take in. That's a lot of positive stuff there.
It is, but so back to your original question. He is a offensive genius type of head coach, right? Like that's his thing. But the way he's raving about this defense is encouraging to me. Now, with that being said, I am worried with every offense making it inside the red zone and not finishing. Me and Matthew talked about it on my first episode about the red zone woes from last season. And like those red zone woes cost us games. Like we lost, big games where, like you need touchdowns and not field goals. So, I didn't like that part. It just in terms of, not being able to finish, but his reaction to things, and just in terms of like, when you talk about a defense playing well. So in training camp, defense should outperform offense time after time, unless the offense has been together for years, right? And I say that because offense is predicated on timing and, in relationships, whereas defense is read, react, run. You can do those 3 things. And then he threw in tackling, like the fact that he said they tackled really well. I know what defensive coaches are thinking. Coaches say, anytime a guy doesn't come down on the first point of contact, that's a missed tackle. But you have to overcoach it to get the point across. But everything right now on the defensive side, I love. It sounds really encouraging, just because like that's the strength of this team to me. So when you hear that the strength matches up with what what they're seeing, and it wasn't like any like egregious turnovers, like constant turnovers, that's a good formula for a winning team. Now, the only thing we have to, get fixed is the red zone.
Yeah, I know when 3-4 years ago, when Sark first came in, the most frustrating thing with Texas, they could not tackle to save their life.
Nope.
And it feels like the past 2 years, I would say that issue's been almost a non-issue, especially last year. I really didn't see too many times where the tackling really hurt us. And as we go into this upcoming season, this is a lot of new pieces being thrown in the mix here. Of course, a couple of veterans who've been here, like Anthony Hill, who's been there for a couple of years now.
Yep.
You got some experience around the roster defensively, but you got a couple of new faces stepping in for the Jades of the world, the Alfred Collins of the world. So here in the continuation of we're going to tackle well, makes me feel really good. One of the